Well, welcome back to more of my beginner's guide to SimCity, in which we talk about some approaches, some strategies, some tips to help you have success with your city and your cities. In our last episode, we were talking about getting into and out of your city. So we were talking about how important the highway entrance was, and we talked about ways of being successful with that traffic in and out of your city. In that episode, we talked about the importance of the roundabout as an option. We talked about setting up a highway potentially to help with relieving that pressure on your city as far as traffic getting in and out. What I want to do in this episode, now that we've talked about getting in and out of the city, I want to talk about actually getting around the interior within the city itself. Now, this city that we created for demo purposes, you will probably never see me create a city like this. But this was just a simple grid that I put together for demonstration purposes. And the reason, the one and only reason, the big reason that you'll never see me do this is look at the sheer number of four-way intersections. So yes, we were able in our last episode to get rid of that four-way intersection getting into the city, but with this particular grid, we've got a lot of four-way intersections. So let's spend some time talking about the interior of the city, talking about how traffic flows, and just some approaches that you can take. So here is a layout of a city, and it's really important to keep in mind, yes, this is for demonstration purposes, but the very first thing that I did was I looked at the direction of the wind. This really is not about traffic, but every time I talk about ways of helping you be successful, I try to incorporate this because this is going to determine where your industrial area is. But now that we've talked about that, let's just kind of talk about some things. This is kind of a, and if you want to do this as an experiment to view it yourself, you can, but kind of using this as a springboard. There is our roundabout. Instead of a single entrance into the city, we've got multiple entrances so that we don't have that one link that can result in a high number or a high level of cars and pressure on the city. But let's kind of talk about what it is that we're trying to do with this demonstration, with this layout that we have here. So let's think about traffic. Traffic is looking for the shortest path from one point to another. So if we were to do, let's say we're doing our industry here. Let's get some residential there. Maybe we'll do some commercial. All right, so we've got some zones. We've got residential, commercial, we've got industrial. I've added services such as garbage, fire, health, police, school, bus, and I've even put in some specializations. We've got a little bit of entertainment, some tourism, as well as we are also working on getting coal out of the ground. So let's talk about the different types of traffic, what's going on, and ways in which to try to help your city avoid unnecessary traffic jams. You will still have traffic, especially as your city gets more dense, larger population. But if I can just help you with some of that unnecessary. So the first thing is let's talk about uh, the different groups. We have got commuters. So we've got residents who, starting around 6 a.m. and really getting to a peak at about 9 a.m., and then again around 5 p.m., we've got commuters. We've got residents who are leaving to go to work and they're leaving to go to school. The other group that we have is we've got our services. We've got our garbage. We've got garbage trucks, we've got fire trucks, we've got health, we've got police, we've got our buses that are out picking up individuals. The third group is we've got traffic coming into the city. So whether this is your neighbors' vehicles or these are delivery trucks importing, exporting, or this is your tourist traffic. Those three groups bump into each other. And when they bump into each other, that's when you start to get those issues with your city. You know, when I look at some of my early cities, when I do the Let's Play together, and I see cities where, we have entire neighborhoods that are burned down because the fire trucks are stuck in traffic, or people are sick because the ambulance can't get to them. Criminals are doing well in one part of the city because of the police cannot reach them, or taxi cabs filling up entire areas of the city. Our freight cannot be delivered. So let's talk about this. So let's start with the commuters. So we've got our residents. They need to get to work. They need to get to school, but let's talk about getting to work. So, what I want to have happen is I want the residents, I want my individuals who are trying to get to work, I want them to see this highway as the shortest path on this side of the city to get to the industrial area. For my commuters over here, I want them to see this highway as the shortest and easiest path to get to the industrial area. I've also given them a bit of a release valve, and you can see we've got some cars that are using it. By doing that, I'm keeping this middle section free as much as possible of commuter traffic. So I'm kind of helping the commuters to get to where they need to be. Along that path, I've got my community college on either side. All in an effort to help these commuters get to where it is that they need to be. We also have some highways. In the middle of the city, I've got my police, my fire, I've got health, and I want to give them their own road onto the highway because I do not want fire, health, and police to struggle just to get onto the road. If my commuters are primarily taking these outer roads, then my fire, especially fire, should have, we don't have any fires going on right now, but my fire should have a much easier trip to go and put out fires. My police should have an easier opportunity to reach criminals. I would have loved to have put garbage uh, on a service road like this, but because of the wind, remember the wind helps to dictate some things, but still, I have garbage on a road like this. that helps the garbage trucks, especially, to be able to go about what it is that they need to do. Now, the middle of this city is relatively free of commuter traffic because my residents are getting to work along here, here, and here. So now my tourists have a really easy way into the city. I went ahead and put bus here to make it easy for buses because buses are going to be coming from outside of the city. So I really wanted to make it easy for my visitors to get here. So we've got two highway entrances for them. I created a highway entrance for industry here, industry there. Yes, part of this middle area is for my coal, but I went ahead and I created another little overpass just to make it that much easier for coal exports to get out of the city. Really what you're trying to do is you're trying to make it so that the three primary types of traffic, you're trying to make it so that your commuters are not getting in the way of your tourists and your specialization, which are many times these are the things that are making your city money. You're trying not to get into their path. All the while you're still and you're working towards not hindering your garbage, your fire, your police, and your health. In this city, I only have, and let me count to make sure before I say, in this city, I only have two four-way intersections. All of my other intersections are T intersections. The simulation, my residents seem to handle those intersections a lot better than a four-way. If I'm adding on to the city, if I were to add on another road, I would want to be thinking about that traffic flow. So if I wanted more of a neighborhood here, if I were to do this, I've just potentially created a shorter path than this. So over here, I probably would not want to do that. Now what we could do instead, we could do that. We could get more residents in. But we have not created a shorter path. That's more work than just taking this outer road. Same thing here. If I wanted to put some residents here, what I could do is I would just make it so that it's not a short path. So instead of connecting these two, what I would do is maybe we could do something along those lines, although I'm not a fan of those two intersections being that close to each other. So maybe we would come out a bit. So it's not a short path. There. The other thing that you'll notice is my major highways in the city. I have not zoned on them that much. I have some zoning here and here. But if you will look, a lot of my major highways, I do not have a lot of zoning on them. I want to leave them free of zoning. And the reason that I want to do that is the simulation. Every one of these homes, as far as the simulation is concerned, is an intersection. So as cars, especially during that rush hour, cars are coming and going out of every one of these homes and businesses. Those are intersections. So if it's during rush hour and we've got multiple cars trying to come and go, then we would start to see that backup potentially. Especially you would see your garbage trucks lined up behind a row of cars, police, fire. This is a new little area, and you can see we've got cars coming and going. So we now have created multiple little intersections, but because it's not on the major highway, it's okay. So really what it's about, as I've said, is you're trying to come up with ways, and if you want to experiment with a layout like this, but you're trying to come out with ways, how do I make it so that my commuters, my visitors, my specialized trucks, and my service vehicles, how do I keep them from bumping into each other unnecessarily? They are going to bump into each other here and there, but just how can I do it so that it does not hinder my city? How do I do it so that I am still making money? We've got 3,000 visitors coming for this event. We've got a delivery truck that is moving pretty nicely through the city. The entrance was more favorable for it to go through the city, but as you can see, this is fine. See how nicely it's going. And then the thing is now when it leaves, let's see which direction it goes when it leaves. Will it see? So in that case, this overpass, it's not viewing as the shortest path. So I could, in theory, get rid of that overpass. But as you can see, we're doing well. My delivery truck has come in. It's gotten a shipment, an export of coal, and it's leaving. Because of where this is. So the entrance is here. So if I'm coming and going, it's quicker to go here, there, and up there than to come into the city and to actually go backwards to get onto the overpass. So it's always good. Use your data to get an idea. So, with that in mind, more than likely, this is not necessary. But I just wanted to go over a couple of thoughts, some strategies, some approaches to traffic on the interior of your city. I'm not saying that you have to make all of your cities look like this, but it's just a way of illustrating how the traffic moves, how the simulation thinks, and ways of setting up your city in ways where you are making it easier for the different types of traffic to get around on the interior of your city. So I really do hope this helps. Leave me comments if this answers some questions but creates others. Let me know. I'm happy to do a follow-up to this or any of our beginner's guides videos. But until then, until our next episode, have fun with your city and we will see you next time.